The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
You know what? There's something nice about being back in the Sunshine State. Not only is it the place where I proposed to my wife, it is also the first time I ever got to see a 24-hour race in person. It's also just a doggone good track, if I do have to say so myself. So whenever we got elbows out here on the server and on the channel, and I got in the server and I saw it was night, and they told me and they said, "Hey, Brad, one of our races is going to be nighttime. What's the best one?" Well, you know I immediately said the answer was Daytona, because when you throw some of these beautiful GTP cars around this gorgeous track here of Daytona International Speedway, I mean, do I have to say anything else? Let's be honest here. I don't have to, but I'm going to. So let's just get this thing on the road, because I'm excited to see how this goes. Welcome everybody here into Elbows Out Racing League. It is going to be Daytona International Speedway. Of course, the beautiful road course here that is taken in the Rolex 24, as it is known and called and loved. But this is going to be a fun one tonight, I think, to see how it goes through. It is going to be myself, Brad Dalton, here in the booth, and joining alongside me, well, it's not Andre this week. Andre has some personal things going on and decided that, well, he didn't like Daytona. That's a lie. He loves Daytona. I know better. But it is, of course, the beautiful Patrick joining me here today. Patrick, good evening, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Brad. It's always good to be here in the Sunshine State, my home state. You know, actually, I used to live like only an hour from this track. And so I've been here a few times. It's a really awesome track, really awesome atmosphere. It's good racing no matter what layout of this track you're on. I mean, currently we are on the Daytona 24-hour layout, so you know it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight.
This is going to be such a good race to watch. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. It's going to be such a great time to see these drivers come through, really see all the battles unfold. I mean, come on, we got pro, we got AM mixing it up, we got everything that's just going to go wild as they come through. So, I mean, when you just kind of mix that together, you mix in a bit of fun, and you just, you know, add all of it together, it makes such great racing, and I'm so excited to see how it goes through. Qualifying is almost done here. About 2 minutes left to go here in the session as we wait for things to go through. You've got everything there on the side of your screen. Nathan Hipperly here is still out putting in laps, though. I'm kind of interested to see how he can do in that Porsche. We got a lot of good cars going through, going in and out, that are really trying to battle things through. Of course, the GT3s on the track is just it causes some of the best action imaginable. And I can't wait to see where it lands out here as qualifying us through. Patrick, points are fairly close. The point spread here is looking pretty good. I'm curious to know how things land where it goes through for the night. We're kind of hitting the halfway point of the season here, so points are all to play for at this moment.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's been a pretty solid season here for a lot of these drivers. Eric Mack, currently our championship leader in that GTP category with 156 points. And he is 34 points ahead of Matt Toppin in the Porsche. So, I mean, like you said, yeah, the championship battle is heating up. Ian Tanzius and Tyler Stenik are only 8 points away from each other. So that battle at the top of the GT Pro category is also still very, very high. This track in general, even though, yes, it's Florida, the land of permanent summer, where, I mean, the lowest temperature is usually around 70 degrees-ish. It's going to be really good action here today. Lots of good overtaking spots. And, yeah, I think especially at the halfway point of this championship, you know we're going to see some spicy battles up and down this grid, especially when it comes to the point where these GT cars are coming to lap traffic around this track.
Listen, you want to joke a little bit about it being warm all the time in Florida. I froze when I was down in Florida and I went to the Rolex. I went to 2024 and it was in the 40s and the 50s for the Rolex. So I don't know what you're talking about it being warm all the time. Then again, I'm arguing with Florida Man right now, so I have a feeling that might not be my best decision on the night. So, yeah, I'm going to stop arguing with Florida Man here as we ride on board here for the moment with Kyle and Bruce. And let's get a lap around Daytona here. Of course, down through Turn 1. Now it's down through the International Horseshoe. And, well, time's going to run out before we get a full lap, but he's certainly going to try. Checkered flag is now out. Kylan Bruce has been told, nope, your lap is done and over, and that is going to be all she wrote. But that will get us into our PTRTV. What do we want to call this? Well, it's, of course, the grid. Why am I saying what do we want to call the grid? I know what to call the grid. The grid is the grid, so we're going to get the grid set up and ready to go, and we'll see how this goes. Now, this is going to be a real quick, short run, so can't go too long with it. And let's get the grid up and ready to party here for this session. We'll start out with GTPs here, and of course, it is going to be running into the wonderful Matt Toppin up in pole position. Return of the Mac. Eric Mack in second place. Aiden Garcia, P3. Benjamin Bechtel in P4. I will not call Benjamin Ben. It is indeed Benjamin. Drew Zario in P5. Dwight Hibbs in sixth place. It is Tyler Watson, Zachary Nerney, Bob Carey, and Colin Bourdon rounding out our top 10 tonight. In the GT3 Pro, it's Tyler Stenik in P1. Or am I saying that right, Tyler? Tyler, am I saying that right? Because I have a feeling I could be saying
I think it is Stenik.
Slightly wrong. We'll double check ourselves here, and if I just said that wrong on the grid, of course he can always yell at me. We do, of course, have that pronunciation sheet, which is very, very nice to have everyone fill out. I'm very glad that they did, and it actually is Stenik. It is not Stenik like it looks. Brian Metterly there, Cody Peridotto, Max Poe, Daniel Panero, and Chris Stewart in P6. From there, Paul Nye Sr., Martin Merkva, Patrick Rich, and Ian Tanzias there in P10. We'll go through the GT3 AMs, and that is Nathan Hemperly, Thomas Baker. From there, we're going to go Parker Chiapuzzo and Christopher Ondera, Chiapuzzo, and then Christopher Ondera, Matthew Santosiero, Lamart Pools. From there, it is, of course, Seth Bosselman, Kai Nebel, Kylan Bruce, Dwayne Hoffman, Christian Cardona, and Scott Fisher, Kyle O'Grady, Jake Shermer, Lucas Blake, Andrew Parker, and then it's showing me as a GT3 AM for whatever reason. I can promise you that I don't even qualify to be in this class, so we'll see how this goes. Race details on the night. It's 60 minutes of hard racing for these guys as they go through. They'll come through the bus stop here as they go through, and I'm going to ask for the prediction now. Patrick, who's going to win this one?
Ooh, this is going to be tough. I mean, it's hard to ignore the recent run of form that Eric Mack has. Eric Mack has been phenomenal throughout the entirety of the season. He's won a majority of the races here at elbows out, so that is where my vote is going to go towards. I'm going to vote on Mac having another magnificent run here at Daytona, and I think he's going to take it from here.
Listen, Eric Mack won 2, 3, 4. He was on his way to win round 5, and then, well, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. Back in GT3 Pros, I mean, I feel like if you bet against Paul Nice Sr., you are probably incorrect, but that's also not me showing any sort of favoritism because he's the boss who pays me. That is just me being realistic on the night here. But we are going to be coming around down, and here we go for 60 minutes of racing. We're underway. Matt Toppin has the lead very quickly, and he is going to be feeling pretty good here to start these 60 minutes. Let's see how they get on into turn 1 here, down in through. Well, it looks like for the moment they are going to get through pretty well together. Right off the race start, that is going to be Matt Toppin in, and it's just absolute chaos in the background. And what's going to happen now when you start having the GT3s come through? This is a disaster waiting to happen. The entire GTP field basically comes together through turn 1.
Yeah, that was basically like a massive. I thought there was a little bit of contact there in the back. It is a Porsche colliding with the GTP, and it is chaos around the first part of this race. The International Horseshoe is the international pileup at this stage of the race, and how we have not gotten a full course caution or any kind of safety car yet is beyond me. Well, I guess we have a safety car on track at the moment. That is one of the Porsche GT3s. And another spin, another bit of contact. It looks like a McLaren got spun around there. And what is going on here in Daytona?
Disaster is what's going on here in Daytona. Further up the field, the GTPs have spread out quite a bit. I'm having to remind myself they're called GTPs because I did a race over the weekend at Le Mans, and it was, of course, hypercars. So I'm having to remind myself that they are indeed called GTPs as they go through. I do want to point out here, Matt Toppin. Matt, buddy, I worry about you here. Maybe not the best moment for him to be having as he goes through. Surely to goodness he's going to be bringing that thing into the pits here very quickly, because that is, I mean, he has no front end on that car, no headlights, no nothing on his Porsche 963, but no, he's going to stay out for another lap. You know what? So be it here. Aiden Garcia in the background you see running through, running around, and trying to get this fight going, and lots of cars into pit lane. Goodness graciously, look at this. Several cars into pit lane here, and that is just going to start things out. Wow. I don't know what else to say other than wow.
Well, I mean, in Matt Toppin's case, he might be following the Lightning McQueen philosophy. A race car doesn't need headlights because the track is always lit. But then again, I'm sure there's better ways to also do weight reduction on that Porsche instead of just removing an entire fender. I'm just surprised he doesn't have any kind of like suspension damage or any of that, as we are here for the battle for third place between Colin Burton and Tyler Watson here. It is going to be a Ferrari chasing, or trying to chase down Tyler Watson there. And it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this race plays out. I mean, I figured there's going to be at least one or two little minor bumps or something like that, but I was not expecting to see, you know, a massive crash involving both categories at the same time. That was just really, really crazy to see. But hey, at least we got it all on camera.
All right, so we're going to go to the replay here, and let's get you all into this replay real quick. So here's how this starts. So we go green, right? This is all nice, green, fun. Everything's coming through. And watch here about midway. This is where things really start to go south. So the leader, the race leader, Eric Mack, commentator curse like nobody's business. And then behind, I mean, I don't even know how to really explain. So that's Matt Toppin going through and around. Eric Mack, well, he is out and done. Ben Bechtel then goes through with Drew Zario ahead and creates all of that. I want to go back and get another angle here from Dwight Hibbs, who is kind of mid-pack in the mix, and we're going to go on board with him, actually. So this is on board with Dwight Hibbs here, starting mid-pack. And let's see how Dwight sees this, because it was interesting, to say the least. So he brakes. He's real slow. GTPs are on cold tires. Race leader taps the inside wall And I mean, just absolute dumpster fire ahead. Check up, check up, check up, check up, go wide. There we go. Good run, and then keep it going. Now watch this. We're going to hop on board with Tyler Stenick because, well, he just sees GTPs everywhere to be found as he comes through. And then, of course, on board with Paul Nye. And there goes, I believe that was Patrick Rich or Martin Merkfoot through. And, well, then it's just absolute carnage at the International Horseshoe as you see him come through. And, well, everybody behind is just checking up. There's big moments all the way through. We're going to go back and find you one more good angle of that because I can't get over how that happened because, well, GT3s were even crazier than I can really explain.
Yeah, oh, yep, just took one car to kind of get checked up and then the rest kind of follow suit like a massive domino effect. That Porsche, I mean, he got a massive corner cut, but you could just see, like, that one, I think that's a Lamborghini in the backfield, just parting those GT3 cars like Moses parting the Red Sea. You could just see GT3s just scramble to get out of the way to not get collected. I mean, that was probably the most chaotic race start I've seen in a while.
It was rough to say the least here. So we're going to see if we can find one more time, one more good angle for you here. Maybe not that fast. Go back a little bit here. And I think this is really going to spell the story here of this race start. So here you go. So you see the carnage with GTPs. This is looking down from the International Horseshoe. So you see the GTPs come through with their carnage. That's Eric Mack that tows. And then, well, here come GT3s, Pro and Am. You see the pink one go off to the side. We're going to cut to this camera really quick. And then, well, it kind of just all hits the fan from there, and you can really see it through. But that is where things just manage to get real wild, real fast, with no absolute reason. I'm trying to see any other big incidents that might have happened here that we might have missed. It looks like Aiden Garcia, of course, was in the mix as well and got caught out. Matt Toppin, Eric Mack, Kylan Bruce, Max Poe was involved as well. Here's another good angle. This gives us Max Poe got caught out there by, looks like that was Aiden Garcia, and then was the one kind of sitting stationary. I'm continuing to try to look to see if there's any other big moments that we need to be aware of here. I mean, doggone, just so much happening there early on in the race to keep up with. And as we come back to live pictures here, this will get us back into the live moment. I know it says replay, but I promise you this is live as we come back through, out, about, and around.
Yeah, I mean, what a chaotic start to this race. I mean, you could have probably, like, cinematically, if you're trying to write a script for a movie, you could have not wrote a more chaotic start to this race here at Daytona. I swear, with how many accidents we saw, you would have thought this was the Daytona 500 and not the, well, 60 minutes of Daytona here. I mean, but that just shows you how much these drivers are trying to give it their all. They're trying to put pedal to the metal. They're trying to make everything just go, go, go. Trying to make all the moves they can. Try to have the best race that they can to further their championship efforts. And sometimes it just doesn't go the way that you would have expected it. As we're currently on board with a battle here in the GT category. But yeah, it's just crazy how many cars in that GT category got involved with the shenanigans from the GTP cars. It's chaotic, but it's one of the things we love about racing here.
Yeah, that's the thing that shocked me really looking at it here. And it looks like there were still some more things that happened that we completely have missed in the meantime. It looks like Zach Nerney deep on the brakes to avoid going through. And then this is going to be Andrew Parker having a moment as well, just avoiding, I believe that is Lucas Blake coming through there. And man, look at that. Trying to avoid the GTP to the outside, locks up the brakes, and nothing he could do there. So now we just go back here and continue this battle around. This is Drew Zario coming through, and what's happened with him, because I got a little bit of a ping that he was having a moment, and well, yeah, that'll do.
Threading the needle there in that BMW, almost collected by the spinning Lamborghini ahead of him. That was pretty masterful evasion there from that BMW. Well done. Well done indeed to the number 860 car. of Drew Zario. Yeah, that's the race leader. I mean, he didn't get caught up in that mess, but we have a three-way battle here in this GTP category. It looks like it is 2 Porsches and a Ferrari. So this is going to be a fun battle. Actually, I stand corrected. It's a Porsche, Ferrari, and an Acura. So this is going to be a fun battle. Not a battle you see every day because the Ferraris in the real world don't usually compete against the Acura. Against the Porsche they do, but you don't really see the Ferraris competing against the Acuras often. So that's actually going to be a really fun battle. And we see the Acura goes wide there, forced wide going into turn number 2. And this battle is absolutely intense here. Tyler Watson is kind of pulling away ever so slightly, but Zachary Nerney and Colin Burden are just still battling this out. Burden lost several positions there when he got forced wide a tad bit earlier on. But, I mean, it looks like Zachary Nerney, maybe those tires are still a little too cold, but he is now driving one of the world's most expensive lawnmowers.
Listen, that grass needs cut. I can tell you that much as you go through and around. It really, really does need cut. So I appreciate him being willing to risk it for the biscuit to get that done. Behind him, Matt Toppin. Why is he still on track? Is this a us issue at this point? Seeing this like this, is this for real an us issue, or is like he's still good? I'm very confused. Like, I want to know what is happening.
I think he's just doing it for himself at this point. He's like, you know what? I don't need headlights. I'm going to take advantage of this extra weight reduction, and I'm just going to go for it. I mean, he's right up on the back of Dwight Hibbs there in the PS1 themed number 31 Porsche, or sorry, number 4 Porsche. I mean, Matt Toppin, that's got to be scary too, because, I mean, I can just imagine from that cockpit, you can't see the headlights behind you because there are no headlights to see, and you just see a slight silhouette of what honestly looks like a little bit of a Formula 1 car.
Kind of does, doesn't it? Here, let's do the most fun part here. Let's get a view from the rear end of Dwight Hibbs and get an idea of what he's seeing here. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's looking at, and if you go here on the cockpit cam, I mean, look in that mirror. That's what he's seeing as we go through, and well, there's the pass. How is Matt Toppin the fastest car on track?
I'm telling you, it's the extra weight reduction. He lost a few pounds, but apparently he just doesn't have suspension damage. So, I mean, he's just cooking. He is on another level right now. This man is going for a generational drive while missing a good half of his body panels, it looks like. That's honestly kind of neat. I actually have so much respect.
Absolutely
for
ridiculous.
Matt Toppin. Yeah, that's insane.
Battle on screen now. This is Tyler Stenick and Brian Metterly that are battling it out for the lead in GT3 Pro as they go around and around and around and around, and Metterly here really, really trying to put in the pressure where he can, trying to bring the challenge. And I'll be honest, he's looking pretty good here at the moment against Tyler Stenick. Tyler Stenick, of course, the big boss here, famous in the beautiful Mustang as he goes. I do think that he is going to be able to hold here for the moment if he plays it right and is careful. Of course, that is sometimes easier said than done. As we go here, McLaren versus Mustang. It's always interesting to kind of see how they battle. I really enjoy just seeing the characteristics of the different GT3 cars as they go through. And I think that this is going to really prove to be just a good fight all the way to the end, if I have to say. They're both very consistent on pace. They're both looking very good. And they will keep things battling as they can. Another battle here that we can keep an eye on in the GT3 AM class at the moment as we get them pulled up. Well, we can if drivers stay on track. It is Kai Nebel, Matthew Santosiero there in the back with Victoria's Secret. And then it is... actually, no, that is Kai Nebel back behind with Victoria's Secret against Matthew Santosiero. And then Thomas Baker just ahead there as well.
Yeah, I mean, these GTP cars are all fighting tooth and nail. Or sorry, GT3 cars. The GTP is going to get past them through. He's on a good part of the track to do it. I mean, we talked about this the last time that we were in this commentary booth together, is that navigating traffic in these kind of endurance races is a skill in and of itself. You got some drivers are better than others, and like you said earlier on, traffic giveth and traffic taketh away. We saw that from the last round with Eric Mack, unfortunately being on the receiving end of the take the away part when it comes to traffic. But and I mean, it looks like right now, I mean, after the GT3 passed, I mean, Thomas Baker really kind of pulled away from those other two GT3 cars, Matthew Santosiero and Kai Neville there. So, but I mean, it's not going to be probably like that for too long, as we see the Ferrari just going ahead and making his way through the field. And yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, after that chaos of the first lap, I think so far, as we're on lap 10 with a little less than 45 minutes remaining, everything has been pretty calm here. Some good racing, some tight battles, but overall, not a lot more chaos. Although, it would be funny to have a bet on how long will Matt Toppin go without any headlights in this race.
I don't know that I want to know how long Matt Toppin can go without headlights. He's currently now back down to P6 in class, but he's a second off of Colin Bourdon here. So we'll go back and follow him here in just a moment. Right now, the battle on your screen is going to be Zach Nerney trying to chase down Tyler Watson, looking for a battle. They go past Paul Nye Sr. there. Down the main straight we go. And is this going to be the opportunity to get this run down into turn one? And you're going to have a Lamborghini to the outside and play it nice, pretty there. Keep it to the inside, and no, good job there. The 31 of Zach Nerney playing the smart game, playing the long game there, and not trying to force any sort of a pass as he goes through. And that is Paul Nye, that is Chris Stewart. They just went past. Paul Nye behind, and Ian Tanzius here. You see the flashing lights, that Porsche safety car trying to get passed by Tyler Watson, because Tyler Watson has Zach Nerney hot on his heels there behind, and Matt Toppin is only a few seconds back from this battle as it stands as well. Here's Matt Toppin right on the back of Colin Bourdon, half a second off of him, and just absolutely flying. Are you kidding me? Losing the front end of a car just makes you go this much faster? Is this what I've been doing wrong my entire iRacing career? Really?
I mean, at that point, just turn lap 1 into Wreckfest, and that way everybody just has the same aerodynamic advantage. I mean, clearly Matt Toppin he's just built different. He just does not care. He is literally just that guy. He has the plot armor. He doesn't need a front bumper. He's still going to give it his best, although he needs to if he wants to continue the fight for the championship. But actually, speaking of championship positions here, he is in a decent spot overall. I mean, ideally, you want to be ahead of Eric Mack if you're in this GTP category, especially as we get closer and closer to the halfway part of the season. And, I mean, as you know, those weeks are just going to fly on by. So, you know it's going to be just pandemonium, and every point is going to matter. So, these drivers are going to give it their all week in, week out. And right now, if you are Matt Toppin, you're not going to be too upset because you are ahead of your championship rival by 4. Actually, Eric Mack's out of this race, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, Eric Mack is 5 laps down, sitting in the pits, and has been for about 20 minutes. Aiden Garcia was able to get back in this race and is sitting back a little bit. Let's jump in here. Chris Stewart currently putting pressure on Ian Tanzius very, very quickly here, and continuing to put pressure along as he goes. Quite happy to see plenty of battles being shaped out all the way through every class, and the battles continuing on as they go. Seth Bosselman here also back putting pressure. This is all the way back in P11 this is back in P11 for the GT3 AM category, is trying to chase down Christopher Ondera 0.2 of a second off as they head down towards turn 1 here. And what will they do on the deep downhill slanted braking zone off the banks of the super speedway down to the flat infield? To the inside he goes. The 79 stays to the outside there of Ondera, and Ondera able to cover off that racing line. If you can nail turn 1, you can get a pass clean, but really that outside line is the preferred line. And boys and girls, I have a problem to report. and nobody's going to like it.
Oh, Drew Zario getting a penalty, but for what? That's the question.
Well, here's for what as we go back to the replay. It gave him a penalty somewhere here. I don't know exactly what for. I'm actually kind of confused, I'm not going to lie. But it's telling me that this gave him a black flag.
That.
Somewhere in this gave him a black flag, and I don't know why.
Huh. Well, color me confused, because, I mean, nothing in there looked like track limits. Nothing in there looked like, I mean, clearly he didn't run anyone off into Narnia, but there wasn't really anyone nearby. I mean, I can't figure out what that penalty would even be for. Maybe he cut just an inch too close on that double striped yellow line coming off of the front stretch. I mean, your guess is as good as mine, Brad.
I have absolutely zero idea, to be honest with you, and that is, I think, the most confusing part for me is that I have absolutely zero idea what he got the penalty for. It makes no sense to me at all as he goes through, but that will actually spell kind of high-key disaster on his race because he'll have to serve a drive-through, and that will put Bechtel very clearly in the lead here as Tyler Watson goes for a dive on Zach Nerney. Zach Nerney trying to go through side by side. They come through turn one. That came out of nowhere, and Tyler Watson holds off Zach Nerney by just a couple tenths. And, of course, we have the battle for the lead between Zario and Bechtel by about 0.3 of a second. So this is just all shaping up out of nowhere. It's getting crazy, crazy real fast.
As it does here in Daytona. It's excellent racing here. I mean, that's the one thing I love it when I get the privilege to come here to Elbows Out Racing and commentate, because there's always good battles up and down this grid, whether you're in the GT3 Pro, GT3 AM, GT3 Pro versus AM, and then you have always the GTP cars. I think I meant to say GTP Pro, but GT3 Pro, sorry. They sound similar. But yeah, I mean, there's always good battles up and down this field. As we see, I mean, even is not too far behind him. Paul Nye Sr. has a McLaren right behind him. I believe that's a McLaren of Parker Chiapuzio.
That is
not McLaren.
Chris, maybe it is Parker. Hold on, it's that.
Let me look at
Stewart. That is Chris Stewart. That's who that is. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I know I'm a little bit crazy, but I don't think I'm that crazy. Wait a minute. No, Paul, who is behind you, buddy? No, that is Parker. Okay, there it is. Yeah, no, that is Parker. Okay. Timing screen trying to lie to me a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know sometimes just timing screens just decide that they don't want to update, but it just, once again, maybe was that contact or a little bit of net coding there between Tyler Watson and Zach Nerney for P2 on track. Tyler Watson did lose that position out to the number 31 Porsche of Zachary Nerney there. I mean, once again, he tried the outside. If you don't succeed at first, then try again. And sure enough, for Zachary Nerney, he is up into P2. But this battle is really, really close here for these final two podium spots, as we see Drew Zario in the pits. And he's just serving that drive-through, which is really, really unfortunate. You got to feel for the guy. I'm just still confused on what he got that penalty for. Maybe post-race we can figure it out. Or well, I mean, it's a drive-through, so you can't really get that removed regardless of what rules Elbows Out may have. I mean, if you got a drive-through, then you're pretty much just stuck at that point. There's not much you can really do there. Like you said, his race is practically all but over. He might stay ahead, or at least partially close to Aiden Garcia, but I mean, he was fighting for a win, and that win is pretty much long gone unless something drastic happens here within the last, 35 minutes of this race.
This race has been shaken up in ways that I wasn't exactly prepared for, to be honest with you, as I sit here and look and kind of compare everything looking through. I mean, at that point, so we've got Eric Mack dropped out. Now Drew Zario is knocked. You have Matt Toppin now finally has a full complete bar, but is down 41 seconds off of the front of the pack here. Tyler Watson trying to chase down Zach Nerney. Zach Nerney is currently 2.7 off of Benjamin Bechtel. I mean, this race has went up on its head. I have no idea where this race is going or what's going on, but man, this is an absolute wild race in so many ways, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. This race has just been there hasn't been a calm moment in this race. So I mean, it's really chaotic, and it means a lot too for the championship standings, because Benjamin Bechtel is currently P6. He only has 86 points to his name. He is 70 off of the championship leader of Eric Mack, and Eric Mack is no longer in this race. Matt Toppin is several positions down, all the way down in P7. So I mean, Bechtel's really got a good shot here to really move his way up the standings here in that Cadillac.
This is going to be a ridiculously good race, so I hope you're here to the end like we are. We're going to be taking this thing all the way through, around, done, and dusted. And I will say, Eric Mack, Max Poe, if you are watching in the background, jump in. We'd love to interview you. We are going to start throwing in driver interviews here where we can, where appropriate. We don't want to interrupt drivers racing, but we do want to be able to kind of, pick their brain every once in a while. And one driver I do want to pick the brain of is Seth Bosselman here, who is currently trying to fight Christopher Ondera and continue to battle. And Drew Zario is gone. Drew Zario out of this race, DNF'd, bye-bye, adios, see you later. What an absolutely heartbreaking race for Eric Mack and Drew Zario. Wow.
Yeah, wow is right, Brad. I mean, if you think about it, the top 3 drivers in that GTP standings are all have some kind of, well, 2 of them are out, and Zario was only 1 singular point behind Matt Toppin. He had 121 to Toppin's 122, and so with those two, with P1 and P3 in the championship out here in GTP, Matt Toppin has a chance to either get within super close striking distance or even retake that championship lead. But also, Benjamin Bechtel also has a really good shot to really just jump up this order here. So it's really good for a lot of these drivers, but it's very misfortunate for the top 3 in the championship.
Zach Nerney into the pits here right as that battle is about to really heat up. Zach Nerney has decided, you know what, forget you. Nothing you were going to show is going to be all that to talk about, because Nerney has decided to come into the pits. And let's see how his pit stop goes here real quick, because I do think he'll have a fairly good pit stop as it comes through. Let's see what his timing will look like here as he's in the box. Of course, 4-tire stop mandatory. And can we just point out what his pit board says there on the top? Am I allowed to show that actually as we go through? I don't know if I'm allowed to show that, but I'm going to show it for that brief moment. If you didn't read it, well then I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Rewind.
No rewinding. No rewinding at all. Matt Toppin's been in. Aiden Garcia's been in. So in GTP, we've had a few pit stops here. We'll pull up the the last pit stop time and last pit stop lap there on your right-hand side. Actually, no, we'll pull up. That's not the one I want. Where's the thing that I want here as I try to find the thing that I want? I want stint. There we go. So that's how many laps drivers have went. Of course, Zach Nerney has now pitted and is going to try, I think, to make a charge through for the front. Ben Bechtel currently with a 4.3 second lead. Feeling pretty good, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's under no real pressure, so Benjamin Bechtel really has a good shot of he could just coast, honestly, for a good chunk of this race. He doesn't have to push super hard. He really doesn't have to go flat out. And, I mean, he's under basically no pressure from anybody. He just has to keep calm, make sure he doesn't collide with a GT3 car, and just kind of go about his day, and he could win this race. I mean, he really benefited from not getting into the chaos up at the front, and also not getting a black flag, as Daniel Panera went a little bit past his pit box. He was just given a gentle nudge back into the pit box. The number 1 Chevrolet C8 Corvette of Daniel Panero getting his pit stop in as a fellow Corvette of Kyle O'Grady. This is the number 8 car in GT3 Pro. And we're starting to see the pit stops already coming in. I know in some races, it's usually like the last like 20 minutes, sometimes even the last 15 minutes, but drivers are opting to make this their stop sooner rather than later. And I mean, hey, we know how strong an undercut can be. So if the strategy is executed to perfection, as now we see Benjamin Bechtel making his pit stop. Oh, actually, now he's coming out of his pit stop. So we'll just see how the strategy plays out. Because, I mean, when it comes to this type of racing, your race is 50% pace, 49% strategy, and 1% dodging traffic.
Yeah, that's very accurate. I'm not going to lie. I couldn't have said that better myself here. I jumped up front here because Parker Chiapuzzo is currently your GT3 AM leader and has for company right there. That is a GT3 Pro down the inside. That is Chris Stewart, who has made the pass down the inside and gotten a clean pass. And I tell you what, this GT3 AM field is stacked week after week, and I absolutely love it. I love seeing so many new drivers come in here, jump in the AM field, and just give it a run for the money as they go through. That is letting through Aiden Garcia in the 799. Clean move there from Parker to let through. And I just want to point out that that gap between first and second, Parker and Christian, that is raw pace, for the record. That is not any sort of a, like, thing. That is 18 seconds of raw pace. And also, Ben Bechtel has done something. He's back in the pits.
I guess Halloween came a bit early and he dressed up as Matt Toppin for the beginning of this race. No front bumper, no headlights. Yeah, let's get a replay of that because I am very intrigued to see, because he just made his pit stop not too long ago. Oh, he just locked up that front set of brakes and boop! Oh, you could just see that front bumper just exploding off of the car like a child's toy. That is just really unfortunate there. I mean, I think we commentator cursed him a bit because I said all he has to do is keep calm and he can win this race. And yeah, Tire Wall definitely had other plans. It's honestly just like watching the Cadillacs in WEC or IMSA, just because the Cadillacs are always up to some kind of nonsense.
A couple other moments we've missed here. Lucas Blake just kind of running off track a little bit, having a scary little moment there through. And then Nathan Hemperly just getting absolutely smashed by, was that Nerney in the GTP? I kind of think that was Zachary Nerney there in the GTP. Drew Zario has had a moment. Oh, no, not Drew Zario. What has happened to Drew Zario?
Not again. Oh, he just lost it.
Yeah, just lost it there on exit on his own. Kai Nebel, it looks like it had some sort of a moment. So I am very shocked that drivers are having so much of an issue with this track. Matt Toppin's had a bad day apparently, and well, him and the GT3, just a little bit of a love tap there, a little bit of a different smack there. And Dwight Hibbs here, we just missed this one live, and what's happened to Dwight Hibbs? He's behind the GT3 coming through, and boop. A little bit of a connection moment there, but yeah, no, tons of big moments that have happened here that, I mean, are just, it's spelling disaster for so many drivers on the night. And well, where does it put us? Well, it puts us in a unique little situation here, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to try to bother making any kind of predictions anymore. I predicted that Eric Mack was going to win this race from the get-go, and he was out lap 1. So I have learned that when you come to Daytona, I mean, Florida in itself is unpredictable in pretty much 98% of its existence. Like, it's unpredictable what kind of random life you'll run into. It's unpredictable what the weather's going to do. And it's unpredictable, clearly, of what kind of chaos you're going to see here at the Daytona International Speedway. So, yeah, I've just learned that I'm not going to make predictions. I don't want to give out any more commentators' curses because I feel like I've given out quite a few as it sits. But yeah, like you said, I mean, this is a fun race to watch. I'm actually really enjoying this one, but like you said, chaos.
It's hard for me to believe it's already been 35 minutes. That's the thing that really threw me off. When we started seeing pit stops, I thought it'd been like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but no, it's been 35 minutes into this race. Absolutely shocking to see here as we go through. Tyler Stenick is coming out of the kink there down towards the International Horseshoe and is set to re-inherit the lead and have about a 5-second lead once Paul Nye Sr. goes into the pits. Paul Nye, Bob Carey, Dwight Hibbs, Tyler Watson, the only cars that have not pit. So once they pit through, Colin Bourdon, the 184 GTP here, who has a little bit of wiggle out of the West Horseshoe, is the driver that is set to inherit. Well, sorry, he was in the International Horseshoe. But he's the driver set to inherit the race lead overall right now because Ben Bechtel, of course, is now down a lap and kind of down and out in GTP. You have Cody Peredato and Chris Stewart here who are sort of battling a little bit. Cody Peredato, it looks like, has had to return to pits. I don't know what's happened to Cody. I tell you what, let's go find out what happened to Cody. Right here, through the kink he goes. And, oh, big wiggle. No, log it up. Oh, he is so lucky nobody was there.
That could have been a bowling incident. That could have been a strike, taking himself and a few other cars out. Kind of like similar to what we saw in that opening lap here around this track. As we see the GTP car just masterfully swimming through traffic here. And yeah, that was close. That could have taken out so many other cars. He kind of threaded the needle there. Excellent stuff from him. And yeah, that could have been so much worse.
And is always tradition here in Elbows Out because I absolutely enjoy it and it's my favorite thing. We are going to step aside here for a second and let you all enjoy some temporarily loud engines. We'll be back momentarily. All right, that was temporarily loud engines, and I tell you what, if you don't enjoy a Ferrari 499 around Daytona, well, I don't think we can be friends, honestly. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to do something a little bit different that we haven't done before, and I'm very, very excited to be bringing this one in because this is something that I worked with the league on a little bit, and I wasn't sure if they'd want this, but we're going to do it. And so we're going to see if we can't get a driver to come in and have a little bit of a chat with us about what their race was like. So let's see if we can get the return of the Mac, Eric Mack himself. Eric, welcome to the commentary booth. How are you?
Thank you, guys. Had a minute to cool down. Feeling a little better right now. How are you guys doing?
Good. So Eric, man, listen, you're such a strong driver, man, but what happened for the return of the Mac? I thought it was going to be your week. What has happened here?
This wasn't it, you know? I mean, I've had some bad luck this season. It's been tough. Putting a lot of practice in, had a lot of good practice laps, and these GTPs on cold tires are just no joke. So race starts, adrenaline's a real thing. You're coming off warm tires in qualifying, and you jump into the race, cold tires, heart's beating fast, and it's just hard to control the GTP. So just had some bad luck, and made contact with Toppin there.
Man, it sucked to see that through, and I also want to get your perspective on turn one, lap one. I mean, I know I always say over and over, you don't win the race on turn one, lap one, but tell you what, it seemed like every field, regardless of where we were looking, it just felt like things were very chaotic this week. I don't know what happened differently, but it was a bit wild, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you think Daytona, it's a really common track. Everybody's run it before, especially multi-class. My philosophy, I try to be as safe and conservative as I can be on lap one. If you can make it past lap one, you can probably finish the race. I watched the replay. Yeah, there was just chaos everywhere. So you hate to see it, but it's a part of racing,
For sure. Eric, I'm going to ask you this while we got you in the booth. Next round, next week, it's Monza. 60 minutes around Monza, day, dry, no nighttime, no relying on headlights, no worrying about track lights. And it's Monza, again, that's a track that I kind of put, I call it a binder track. Every driver should be able to put a lap down around Monza. How do you think next week's going to go for you, man?
Oh, man, it should be a good week. Monza's a lot of fun. Again, another track everybody's probably familiar with. A good multi-class track, too, I think. Plenty of straightaways, not too many points to get hung up. So again, if you can make it through lap one, turn one especially, it should be a good race. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be awesome to watch, man. And before we let you go here, battle on screen currently, Thomas Baker and Matthew Sanchez-Hierro here going side by side down the main straight, GT3 AM, P2. Let's see how they get together. It looks like they're going to be fairly clean here down into turn one. Before we let you go, Eric, anyone you want to thank or shout out while you're here in the booth?
Just the guys of the league, we've all put a lot of work into, putting together what we have, and it's, an incredible experience. I love being here. So, all the admins, everybody in the league, you guys, the announcers, making it a great viewing experience every week. So just thanks all around to everybody. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping in to chat, Eric, and good luck next week, man.
Thanks, guys.
I love being able to pull drivers up here and talk to them. It's just so nice sometimes to be able to get that quick perspective. Of course, rule number one is always going to be let drivers breathe, let them kind of cool off after a scary moment. But it's always nice just to kind of get drivers up in the booth and get their perspective. Because, us here, commentating, Patrick, we kind of look and we go, oh, yeah, this is great. This is fun. This, that, and the other. But then you get the drivers up here in the booth and they might tell you something completely different.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, granted, we see overall perspective of everybody, but the drivers know exactly what they're going through. Because as much fun as you and I have here on this commentary booth, talking about the cars, talking about the track, talking about everything that's happening on the track, the drivers are the ones actually going through it. They're the ones that are feeling the pedals. They're the ones feeling the spin, as Tyler Watson has there in that number 7 car. But yeah, let's actually see what happened there. But yeah, the drivers are the ones that are feeling everything. So, that just looked like, did he get bopped is the question. Did he get turned into a Beyblade?
Let's
see if the
but
Ferrari...
I want to know by who. Let's see here as we get the shot. I can't tell. That is the one, that's Colin Bourdon behind here. So
yeah,
here's your replay.
Just yeah.
So 184 coming through.
Oh no, he just got lost on his own.
let's get one more angle of this really quick because it's very hard for me to tell from that angle we were on. And tell you what, if we want to know what happened, let's
Either
just
that
go
or he
on
got
board.
coded.
Let's just go on board here with this wonderful nose cam that we have and see if there was any contact. So we'll
I
bring
think
that.
it was contact. I think it was just. I think it had been net coded.
Let's see. So he's coming through. He's coming around. He's on. And yeah, no, that was completely on his own. There was no contact there at all. So
I mean, that is a
good
pretty
call.
easy corner to screen out on.
And while we are looking at that, Colin Bourdon has gotten up into the lead. And, well, how did he manage that? Well, because Dwight Hibbs came in the pits. So your new race leader as it stands, with about 15 minutes left to go, is Colin Bourdon.
Yeah, and Colin Bourdon is currently 10th in the championship standings here in the GTP category. He has 33 points to his name. So granted, he's not going to suddenly take the lead of this championship by any stretch, but he's definitely going to really do himself some favors, as Matt Toppin has also kind of climbed his way back through this field here in the GTP category. He is now sitting in 4th place overall and in class. The number 50 car is he's going to try to catch up to Tyler Watson, but I mean, even from like the lap 1 incident and then with less than 15 minutes left to go on the race, coming back to P4, I mean, that's a mighty fine drive there from the number 50 Porsche.
Yeah, he definitely can't be mad at that. To be frank, he might still be mad at it, because if you met racing drivers, they get mad if they don't win. That's their brand, that's their nature. But at the end of the day, they still have fun, we have to be honest. So we'll see how that one lands. I want to jump back here. Patrick Rich currently sitting P18 overall, sitting P6 in pro. Well, he's got 2 AMs behind him that are being pretty feisty here. Dwayne Hoffman and Christopher Ondera. These two have just not let go at the moment. And with 13 minutes to go, this is currently your closest battle on track for position between Hoffman and Ondera, P5 and P6 respectively.
Yeah, this is a pretty good battle, and this is the thing I like about these GT3 drivers, is that they can just go ahead and let a GTP car through and then just immediately resume battling. It's just really awesome to see that they're like, oh, anyway, and they're just right back at it again. It's just really entertaining and really awesome to see, because they have their own little bit of management they have to do as well. We always talk about how the prototypes have to kind of navigate traffic, but those GT3 cars that are the traffic, they gotta kind of think like, hey, you know, I gotta pick a good point to let this this prototype through, but not to the point where I let my rival or the car I'm currently battling with through. So it's a really tough balancing act here for these GT3s, whether you're in the pro or the AM category, because while we do have them in 2 separate categories, they're basically an equal machinery. So a pro can fight an AM car at any given point.
That they can, and it always proves a great battle whenever that does happen. And there are talks about some slight changes into next season, and I kind of want to gauge your opinion on this, Patrick, because it was pitched to me and I kind of didn't know how to feel about it. But there's talks about doing more separation between the pros and the AMs, especially on the race start, because as of right now, the pros and the AMs start very together on the race start, and they're talking about splitting it where it is 3 separate sets of cars. So it'd be GTP, GT3 Pro, GT3 AM, and it's kind of been pitched back and forth. I've gone back and forth on it in my head all day while I've kind of thought about it. There was a moment where I was like, nah, leave it how it is, and there's a moment where I was like, well, yeah, splitting the classes up makes sense, but I don't know. I want your opinion on it, because the thing is, for me, with GT3 Pro and AM, they are an equal machinery, so it makes sense to race them together, and, you know, I don't know. I want your opinion on it.
Well, from my opinion, if you're the drivers in those 2 categories, then having them split might be ideal. However, from the spectator and commentator point of view, I would prefer them to stay together, because it provides more awesome on-track action. Because the quality of battles between the pro and AM drivers is usually pretty equal. I mean, it's not like, you know, the AM drivers are constantly wrecking out the pro drivers and vice versa. They're able to keep it clean in most situations. So, I mean, it's really all just a matter of perspective because, like, from the commentator point of view, like I said, having them together provides more action, it provides more cinematic moments, more highlights potentially for, highlight packages later on, for a driver's highlight reel, for a commentator's highlight reel. But if you're one of the drivers, you might not want to risk getting taken out by, a class you're not directly competing with. So, yeah, I'm kind of split on the two, to be honest.
I see it both ways, and I think the only thing that would really sort of settle that is let's get LMP2s in here, or LMP3s. Let's get LMP3s in here, and let's run 3 classes. Let's just make it real wild if we really want to do it. If we want to do 3 separate classes of cars, let's do 3 separate classes of cars and get real wild with it.
Or get GT4s.
I was going to say, or TCRs. If you want to get real insane, GT4s, TCRs, let's really get that pace difference cranked up. And somebody in YouTube chat is going to scream at me for that one. And I'm going to not give you the chance to. 10 minutes to go in this race here as we go half a second between Matt Toppin and Dwight Hibbs.
I was just going to say, it's going to be very hard for me not to glaze Hyundai at every given moment if we do TCR. But, I mean, hey, all good ideas. How about if you guys in chat have any opinions, let us know, because I'm actually curious to see what chat has to say as we are on board with this battle between Dwight Hibbs and Matt Toppin. Porsche v Porsche, the number 4 versus the number 50. PlayStation versus Heart of Racing here. America versus Canada, as we see these two cars battling it out here around the Sunshine State, around Daytona. We see the flashing lights there from Dwight Hibbs. Is he going to try to make a move on the inside? It's going to be close. No, he just did not quite have the real estate to make that move. And Matt Toppin keeps that position for now, but we know that there's so many good spots to overtake on this track. So I'm pretty sure, Dwight Hibbs seemingly does have that pace. They're both stuck behind one of the GT3 AM cars. That is the number 23 car, I believe, or that might be the 25 car of Parker Chiapuzio. I was looking for number 23. I didn't see a 23, so I'm assuming that's the 25.
Could be the 25. We're going to find out real quick. Let's find that 25 here on my side. There's Parker.
Oh, no, that was definitely not 24. Oh, sorry. I'm blind. I can't read numbers, apparently. That's Lamar Pools in that number 23 car. That was just ahead of the 2 GT3 car or GTP cars earlier on.
Yeah, Lamar Pools. There we go. The red and blue Porsche Shell 992 here as he goes through. Looking pretty good here. 8 minutes left to go in this race, and we're starting to see some battles shape up here on track. Dwight Hibbs, Matt Toppin coming through, Andera Hoffman coming through. Tanzius is trying to chase down Chris Stewart. Baker is trying to chase down Santa Sierra. So plenty of things coming to life here on the track, but man, Daytona has been so much fun here. And of course, for Elbows Out, if we look at the remainder of the season as it goes, as I said earlier, Monza's next week. And Monza is one that I'm pretty well thinking is going to be a real good race. Of course, from Monza, we're going to go to the 24 hours of Les Arts, or Le Mans, as it is better known, as we see the wiggle there come around, and everybody holds on. From there, we're going Interlagos. Then we go Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. I don't have a lot of experience with the Indianapolis Road Course. I've seen it. I think I've even raced it once, but I just can't picture it in my head. It's something that, I think is going to be a good race, though, from all the little research I've done on it. But that's all the way on the 21st of May. That's a month from now. We got plenty of time to think about that. And then, of course, we go into Circuit Zandvoort, and then we finish things out with the Nürburgring. 90-minute run around the 24-hour layout of the Nürburgring. So, yes, you can do the math on what the 24-hour layout of the Nürburgring is for 90 minutes. And, yeah, you know where we're going with that. That's going to be a wild one, and I can't wait to see it. Checking in with our race leader, Colin Bourdon here. Colin Bourdon in the 184, currently leading by 6.4. So I think Colin's feeling pretty good here as he carves his way through traffic and keeps his pace going on the night.
I'm going to say the same thing, and I'm going to try to dispel any energy, any juju about a commentator's curse that I might unintentionally bestow upon this 184 Acura here, but like Benjamin Bechtel earlier, before he had his moment, he needs to just keep a level head and just kind of essentially vibe. He's not under any immediate pressure. He just needs to focus on getting through this GT3 pack without any incidents. He doesn't need to push. These two Porsches are pushing, apparently, because that is both Matt Toppin and Dwight Hibbs off the track there. That is off of turn 3, I believe, or no, turn 2 on this track. And we're going to go ahead and rewind a bit and see what happened here.
Well, here's a replay. So you can see coming through, runs wide does Matt Toppin, and Matt Toppin comes back on track. They have to mind the McLaren to the inside, and well, unfortunately, Matt Toppin and Dwight Hibbs just come together, and nothing they can do, and unfortunately, that is all she wrote for them.
Ah, man. It's not been Matt Toppin's race. I mean, he was part of that lap 1 incident. He got taken out here again with himself and Dwight Hibbs. Yeah, that's just really, really unfortunate there. I mean, we've seen so much chaos as we are currently on board with Seth Vostelman here in the number 143 Ferrari as he makes a pit stop. Pretty late to be making a pit stop here. It's down to about little over 4.5 minutes left here at Daytona. It's gonna be interesting to see if these drivers can just hold on for these last 4.5 minutes to secure their spots here, as Ian Tanzius is going to try to hook it around the outside onto Chris Stewart. It's going to be a close battle. It's going to be close, but no tamale there for the safety car of Ian Tanzius. There is a GTP car. That is, I believe that is Aiden Garcia just getting through. It is Aiden Garcia, the number 799 Acura GTP car, carving his way through traffic, and he has Benjamin Bechtel not too far behind, but I'm pretty sure Benjamin is a lapped vehicle. So, as fun as it would be to see a last lap battle here between Adon and Benjamin, it's just not likely to happen. But we are seeing a battle here. It is Mustang v Porsche, and they get so close to each other. That is Dwayne Hoffman and Christopher Ondera battling it out. Now, there was a GT3 car off, and that might be Patrick Rich in the number 45 as we go back to the safety car of Ian Tanzius. And he's just kind of in a world of his own right now. He's going to try to chase down Chris Stewart, who's a little over or a little under a second ahead. But things are really going to heat up here as this race comes to a close.
And that was Patrick Rich that ran off there. Good eyes from you, Sir Patrick, to notice that. Behind him is a battle for 4th in GT3 AM. It's Dwayne Hoffman and Christopher Ondera. They are chasing each other down, the 79, the 270. And let's just go ahead and add Nathan Hemperly in the mix. He's probably into the second back there. The number 12. Things otherwise, well, everyone's just trying to hold on to this car at this point and get things through. It's really throwing me off that those GT3s had to make those last-second pit stops that did. Lamarck Pools going in, Seth Bosselman going in, Christian Cardona going in. That tells me that they underfueled just enough that they're having issues, and it makes me wonder, did anyone else manage to miscalculate fuel or do something wrong here? Because if they did, we're only 2 minutes left to go here. This will be about 2 more laps, maybe 3, depending on where our leader is on track. So we'll see how that plays out. Chris Stewart, Ian Tanzius here, just separated by about 0.4 of a second as they send it down through the kink. Behind them, of course, is going to be Dwight Hibbs trying to lap his way around these two fighting cars, and he should be able to get through without too much of an issue. Checking in on our race leader, he's coming across the line. White flag was not out, so Barney, you can see just chilling there, pretty as you please. So we'll get this lap plus 1 more here with 1:45 left to go as we check in on Zach Nerney 6 seconds back.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite crazy how fast this race went on by. Also, especially considering all of the incidents that we had here on track. I mean, the stewards are going to have their hands full tonight, especially as we get, especially after this race is done and dusted. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun race here. Now it's a battle for 4th here in the GT3 AM category. It is Dwayne Hoffman, Christopher Ondera, and Nathan Hemperly all battling it out now for P4 in the GT AM category. And I mean, they're going to try to push this down right to the wire here to secure that P4 just outside of the podium spot, although it's about 14 seconds away from the podium spot for these drivers, so it's not super likely for them. But anything can happen here at Daytona, as we have learned. But it looks like Dwayne Hoffman, I mean, he's got the pace, so I think he can stick it up to the end. But we will have to note that Ondera is right behind him.
Yeah, Ondera looks quick. I think anything can come up here. White flag should be out now this time by for our race leader here, as he is going to be crossing the line just ahead of them. Barney the flagman will have the white flag. No, okay, never mind. No white flag to be called, but this is the final lap, even if Barney is being a little lazy on his flag duty. Spin down into turn one there. Ooh, and the 270 comes back on the track. Watch out, I know you're going full
Wow.
but you got to watch it there. Dwayne Hoffman, I mean, Ondera, I am so sorry, buddy. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Mustang is massive compared to these other GT3 cars. It's like putting a Hot Wheels car next to a Pinewood Derby car, just based on the size difference alone between the Mustang and the other GT3 cars. So yeah, oh, yep, they just collided there coming off of the front stretch, and then that's pretty much all she wrote there for Christopher Ondera. Yeah, just a really unfortunate end here. And for all that to happen, I mean, that's just unfortunate to happen regardless, but especially on the last lap there. The checkered flag is out, but yeah, you hate to see it.
Colin Bourdon, maybe not the driver we predicted at the start of this race. Of course, elbows out, having some of the greats that they have, Drew Zerio, Eric Mack, the big players at the front of the GTP field. But here's the thing, in order to finish first, you have to finish. Aiden Garcia has had to do a splash and dash right at the end here as well, but it doesn't matter for him because it is Colin Bourdon who is going to be able to capitalize in the face of success. He'll bring it across the line to win this round number 6 of Elbows Out Racing League here on PTR TV. Zachary Nerney will bring it across in second, and from there, it'll be P3 Tyler Watson who will bring it through, currently coming out and around down the back stretch. That is how big the gap sits currently. He'll bring it through and have a run down in the GT3 Pro Field. It is, of course, the big red Mustang, the red and white Mustang of Tyler Stenick, that 33. Started on pole, looked very happy up front. That Mustang has been just so good, and that was Dwight Hibbs in the background, who just absolutely messed up the bus stop. But coming through will be Tyler Stenick to finish things out here in the end. And he is going to be very happy with where he finds himself through. And further behind, the Pfaff McLaren of Chiapuzzo is still trying to finish things through. Tyler Stenick across the line, and Chiapuzzo still trying to finish things out. He is just now coming through the bus stop, but it will be a great victory for him in GT3 AM.
Yeah, I mean, a very well-driven race here from all of our race winners here. And honestly, this mostly just came down to just avoiding issues and just avoiding accidents, especially for that GTP class. Because, I mean, we had so many different leaders. I mean, Matt Toppin was on pole. He got taken out. Eric Mack, I think, had the lead for maybe a millisecond, then got taken out. Benjamin Bechtel wiped out. So, I mean, Colin Bourdon really just, he survived and he got the race win. Tyler Stenick, I mean, we didn't really see a whole lot from him because he was usually just off to the races and off just busy dominating in that Mustang. And we saw Parker get close to the GT3 Pro car of Chris Stewart on a few occasions, but I mean, it's a very well-driven race from all of the race winners. Very well-deserved, in my opinion, and especially for some of these drivers that may be a little bit lower down that championship field. The main one coming to mind being Colin Bourdon. He's going to be pretty happy with how that race turned out.
I hope he's happy because that was a doggone good race when it's all said and done. Let's get these full screen results pulled up for you here for the class categories as it stands. After 38 laps here around Daytona, ladies and gentlemen, 38 laps around Daytona. This is where we find ourselves. So in first place, we have Colin Bourdon. In second place, it was Zach Nerney. In third, it was Tyler Watson, and then Matt Toppin in fourth. Dwight Hibbs rounded out your top 5 a full minute back. Bob Carey in P6, Aiden Garcia in P7, Ben Bechtel P8, Drew Zario in ninth, and return Mac. We heard from him a little bit there, having not the ideal race in P10. That is all for that category. Let's go to the GT3 Pros. From there, it was Tyler Stenick and Brian Metterly in first and second. Paul Nye Sr. in third. Ian Tanzius in fourth. Chris Stewart in P5. Patrick Rich in P6. Daniel Panero, he didn't go to Panera, but he went a lap down in P7. Martin Merkfa, P8. Cody Herodato in P9. Max Poe in P10. And that is all of your cars in GT3 Pro. From there, we have GT3 AM to look into, and Parker Chiapuzio in P1 overall. A full lap up on the rest of the field. This is ridiculous. And Matthew Santasiero there in second. Thomas Baker in third. Dwayne Hoffman in fourth. Nathan Hemperly in P5. Christopher Ondera, P6. Lamart Pools in P7. Scott Fisher in P8. Kyle O'Grady in ninth. Kylan Bruce in P10. From there, it's Seth Vosselman, Kai Nebel, Andrew Parker, Christian Cardona, Jake Shermer, Lucas Blake. Your 16 cars in GT3 AM that took on this field. Do we have any of our race winners hanging out to chat with us here? Patrick.
I see a few drivers. My connection's not doing super hot at the moment, so I apologize if I sound like a robot. But we do have Tyler W, Brian Murderly, we have Patrick Rich. We have quite a few drivers here, quite a few people we could call in.
I tell you what, let's pull in, since we're looking really quick, let's pull in Brian Metterly. He finished second place in his class. Let's kind of talk to him for a minute about his day if he wants to talk.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey Brian, doing pretty well. How are you, man?
Not too bad.
Awesome. So first off, congrats on the second place. Kind of talk me through your race, because it seemed like Daytona was nothing but pure chaos.
Yeah, but behind us, the start of the race, I just wanted to stay with Tyler and kind of stay in his draft for a while, try to fuel save a little bit, and it ended up working out for me. I kind of under-fueled at the beginning of the race, so I was able to go that extra lap and get a bonus point, and then I was able to hold Paul off there at the end. I was kind of worried that he was catching me there at the end of that first stint, so it all kind of worked out. I ran out of gas right after the start-finish line, so I was kind of cutting it close.
Couldn't have timed it much better, man. I got to ask, though, the question on my mind is, what is it about Daytona that seems so difficult? Because it seemed like really drivers were just having a time today. As soon as we jumped in and, things started, it was just turn one, lap one was chaotic, and everything from there just seemed like it was a battle.
Honestly, the track's just so wide and the turns are so inviting, and then once you get in it, you realize you're cooking the corner, and you're in trouble most of the time. Usually either you're spinning out or someone's flying into you, it seems like. So getting through that first couple laps is crucial, and then making sure you get tire temp up and then start clicking off those lap times.
Awesome, man. And Brian, I'm going to have to ask, what's going to be the goal for next week at Monza, man?
Honestly, I'll be happy with another podium finish. It'll be a little tricky starting in the back. I know Daytona pretty well. Monza is an okay track for me, so just trying to repeat and get over some of these bad races I've had to start the season.
Well, I definitely think you're in a good position for that. Brian, anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go for the night?
Tyler and Paul, they usually help me behind the curtains, and that seems to make the biggest difference tonight, so thanks to both of them.
Awesome, man. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us, and we'll catch up with you next week at Monza.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, Patrick, anybody else we should catch up with? I think we got time for one more driver here, and I'm trying to see who all is hanging out.
Tyler, because Tyler is in.
Yeah, let's grab our GT3 Pro winner here, Tyler Stenick. First of all, Tyler, I love the chrome on your Mustang. I don't know if I've said that. I'm going to make sure to say it now. I love the chrome on your Mustang, man.
Appreciate it. Shout out to Brian Metterly for that one. He made that for me.
Well, there you go. Brian Metterly,
Love
the
it.
skills, more than just the wheel. Listen, Tyler, so I have a question, man. How did you survive turn 1 lap, or how did you survive like the first 5 turns of lap 1 unscathed?
Luckily, I was in my own little spot, and I just had to. My only kryptonite would have been myself. So, luckily, I was able to stay with me and Brian. We're able to get in our own little groove and avoid all the drama that was behind us. So, grateful for being able to qualify this week compared to last week. So, once we got out of that and got our tires at temp, we were actually able just to run our own race.
It was really fun to kind of watch through, and I have to ask you, man, as the class leader when you're running through, you know that, Brian's in second wanting to try to chase you down, Paul's in third trying to chase you down, and you have all of these GTPs that are just flying past you left, right, and center, but you're also at the same time lapping other cars at times. How does it feel when you just have GTPs coming up out of nowhere, and how do you handle kind of having that faster traffic approach, and what's your balance for that?
I usually try to make it as difficult as possible for them, in a respectful way. I usually try to make it as obvious to what door is open for them to reduce issues with either one of us, to reduce either one of our pace. A lot of times people will open the door and be unpredictable, and I feel predictability is what rewards both drivers. So with GTPs, I know all the spots where they should be passing and where they're going to enjoy passing, and I feel like if you can kind of manage that a little bit and just be hyper aware of what's around you, it just helps you not reduce the pace, because when you're battling someone who's a second behind you, every 10 matters. And then with this track that's 50%, 70% draft, once Brian was 6/10 from me, it didn't matter what happened, he was right up on my bumper by the start finish every single lap.
Tyler, I think you're my best friend on that one. I love the answer you gave. Make it as difficult but as easy as possible at the same time. That is the best GT3 answer I've ever heard about dealing with GTPs.
Thank you.
Tyler, man, before we let you go enjoy your evening and celebrate your win here in GT3 Pro, anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Appreciate all my buddies, Brian, Paul, like you said, behind the curtains, we all chat. It's a great league. You guys' broadcasting is phenomenal. And it's an enjoyable Wednesday, especially now with the broadcast and everything like that. Couldn't be finding a better way to spend a Wednesday night.
Awesome, man. Tyler, we appreciate it as well. Take it easy, and we will catch up with you at Monza.
Hey, see you then.
All right, we got time for one more driver here, and I want to pull in a GTP driver. So who I'm going to grab, well, I think we're going to grab one Mr. Zachary Nerney, if he is available to speak. Zach, good evening, sir. First off, congratulations on second place. I have to ask the question, though, do you think you had anything else left in the tank to try to go for a win tonight?
Oh, most definitely. I had probably one of the sloppiest races I've had since joining the league, in all honesty. Yeah, that one kind of hurts.
Man, it was still fun to kind of watch and see all the battles. Of course, with Drew Zario, Eric Mack wrecking out early on in their race, it kind of opened the GTP field wide open. At one point, Tyler Watson was leading for a bit, and Tyler and Ben Bechtel, I feel like everybody got their time up at the front of the field here a little bit, Zach. Kind of talk me through how your race was painting and what you thought your plan was going to be moving forward.
I kept locking up really early. Even after I pit, I kept locking up going off track. I was really hoping the undercut paid off. Obviously didn't.
Yeah, definitely didn't there, but still not a bad race. And how are we feeling for Monza next week?
Feeling great. These are two of my best tracks back to back, so I was really hoping for a win here, but I got to go get it done at Monza now.
Absolutely, man. Zach, anyone you want to thank or shout out before we let you go enjoy your evening?
Love to shout out you guys, everyone in the league that makes this happen every single week, and the whole admin team.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the shout out there. We appreciate it, and go take it easy, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, see you guys.
All right, Patrick, man, it's been such a good race today. That's really where I'm at with it. It's been just a great race overall, and I have enjoyed it. I'm Elbows Out always delivers, and Daytona always delivers, and you put the two together, and it's just an absolutely beautiful race.
Oh yeah, 100%. You hit the nail right on the head there. It's always really fun. In Elbows Out, it's always awesome when I get to come make an appearance here, commentate with you, commentate for these very fantastic drivers. All these drivers in all three categories are just so talented. And I have nothing but respect for every single driver that comes out here week in, week out, puts the time in, and delivers a very good race for us at the commentary booth and for all the amazing people watching on our various platforms.
Absolutely. More racing coming up here on PTR TV this week. Tomorrow, it is going to be the area iRacing Pro Series. So you can check them out. Corey will have them through, of course, with Hunter. Be a great Thursday night treat. There are some more things in the works here for the channel that we haven't really said yay or nay on yet, that I can't really talk about yet. But just know more great racing coming. And then, of course, you get to next week, we'll have Sim 500 back. We'll have some great action coming, and that will be where that goes. On behalf of Patrick in the booth, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish. Be sure to join us next week or tomorrow, where we'll take you start to finish yet again. Good night. All right, boss.